Hello out there. I wonder if you guys can hear me or not today. I don't know. Hey, I just got done in the kitchen. Somebody's watching. That's good. I thought I'd talk about this behemoth of a bill that would just pass Congress, and I wanted to get your guys' opinion on it. I mean, what do you think about a 5,593 page bill? Like, isn't that crazy? Am I the only one that thinks that's crazy? You know that no one that voted for that bill like read it all the way through, right? I mean, there's no way. Like, that's crazy. It'd be hard for you to just search for your own name in it. Anyway, it looks like we're all going to get 600 bucks a piece. And so just got a text message from somebody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching, Jay. Appreciate it. Look, I think that it's a bit upsetting. I was hoping that someone would have some opinions. Feel free to type in the chat box there; it'll pop up, and I can see what you're thinking. But I also see that so we're getting $600 each. That's helpful, right? It's going to boost the economy some. What will you do with your money? Maybe I'll buy some Bitcoin. I don't know. I'll buy something, I'm sure. Um, Looks like it also has something about the Dalai Lama in it. Isn't that crazy? I thought that, yeah, Tracy, you ready to get that money and spend it, aren't you? Thanks for chatting there, man. It looks like Acorn, which doesn't even exist anymore, but I'm sure Glenn Beck will be happy to see that Acorn's not getting any money. He and his organization, I think, pretty much torpedoed that group. Let's see what else is in here that I saw on the news. I mean, I bet it's got just about a little bit of everything in there. I'm interested in seeing what educators are going to get out of it. I think my former boss, Dan Smith, was showing off some of the goods that he got in the last um, stimulus bill. All the professors at MTSU got new laptops. That was nice. And, you know, it's funny because like you throw all this money at it and they didn't really think about what we really needed and things of that nature. I mean, you could have taken that money and cut people's you know the bill for that, like, because like all the teachers had computers already, so to buy them new computers just it's kind of silly. And then even if you were satisfied with your computer, the interesting thing was if you didn't take it, you were resetting yourself on your clock. So like to get upgrades, at least at MTSU, every computer has to be upgraded every so often. And so maybe you got your desktop 6 months old. You're going to reset your time clock on it, or maybe it was just a couple years old, like mine was at the time when I was there. And you'd have to reset your clock, and you wouldn't get a new upgrade like you normally would. And so they pretty much made people take these things. Twisted the arm a little bit of people, that's for sure. Looks like the Smithsonian's getting money. That's good. I like the Smithsonian, but it's going to create two new identity-based museums, one for Latinos, one for women. It's good. Mixed emotions from my cousin Donna. Yeah, I know. You're right. Look, I know that people need money. There are people hurting out there, and so I mean, I can't I can't be too upset about that. But what does COVID-19 have to do with North Dakota getting a presidential library for Teddy Roosevelt? I mean, not a lot. Doesn't have a lot to do with it, but it's good for North Dakota. I'm sure Senator Thune had something to do with that. You want my help? Can I put something in there for my state? I wonder what Tennessee got. That's what I haven't had a chance to look that up, see if we got anything out of this. It'd be good if we got something. I mean, my feeling about the federal government is we're way overspent. There's no way we can dig ourselves out of this hole. I'm upset because the stuff has nothing to do. Yeah, exactly, Tracy. It really doesn't have anything to do with it. This is just their chance to loot the coffers once again, right? Get something for their states. I think adding in all the other mess was wrong. Yeah, right. I mean, the thing is, like, I think most Americans want to help people who are hurting. I really do. I think that if you talk to somebody, they're like, yeah, like, if somebody's lost their job, they should get a little extra benefit. I mean, what's the benefit here in Tennessee? Like $200 a week or something like that. This will add $300 to it. That somewhat help. It's an extra $1,200 a month. That's hopefully close to someone's rent. Probably not, but close, depending on where they live. So, I mean, there are some things in there that were needed for sure, but I just, I don't know, just feels like I don't like it when the government pees on you and tells you that it's raining. And I feel like this is another this bill, this, if Trump signs it, this law is another example of it. And so, I mean, I'm sure there's some goodies in there that are going to help me. I have no doubt because with 5,000 pages, we're all probably getting something out of it. But it's just one of those, it's a little upsetting. It would be nice if the ones that really need this money would get it. We will have to pay back time. You're right. I mean, Georgia, it's right. Like if people were really hurting, if this money was going straight to them, we'd all really appreciate it. And we'd all want those people to get it. But as it is, it's going to everybody. And I think something like 20% of it's going to regular folks. Everybody else is, some type of organization or something's getting it. So it's $900 billion. At this point, what's another billion, on it? Steve. Yeah, I love my bookshelf too. Thank you for convincing me that I could build it. I appreciate that. I couldn't have done it without your support. Perfect. Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. Exactly right, Bill. That's how I feel. Like the government just constantly just pees on us and tells us that this is rain. It's good for you. Some reason it stinks, and can't blame Mount Trashmore over here in Murfreesboro for all the smell that's coming out on our whole country here. So very frustrating. I haven't had a chance to. There goes the value. Did you see the look? The shekel. The shekel's doing. If you're invested in the shekel, which is the Israeli money, it's super strong, and like they're trying to weaken it and they can't. I'm convinced that these countries that have lived within their means, like I'm not sure why they don't just send money to their people, kind of like what we're doing here. Just give some money out to weaken the currency. And if it doesn't weaken, then great. They'll all be able to live off of it. If I was Switzerland, that's what I would do. Totally. Just send out money to my people. So, the thing is, so with she says, my cousin Donna, she's like, there goes the value of the dollar. The dollar I believe that it's in a lot of trouble. I really do. I think the reason the stock market is going up is because you're seeing the dollar lose a lot of its purchasing power. And I think that if the economy was kicking in, you'd see gas prices rising like crazy too, because I just don't think that I don't think the dollar's in good shape. I think it's very weak. We've got really low interest rates, and the way you would try to fight the weakness of the dollar would be by raising interest rates, and I don't think that our economy can handle raising interest rates. So yeah, I agree. There goes the value of the dollar. It's good to be long stocks because stocks are going to earn money, and so that's good. Because if the dollar gets weaker, stocks earn more. So it's good to get stocks. Normally when you see, there's the boom, the gloom, then the doom is what a lot of people call it. And so we're in a boom right now. Eventually gloom comes upon you, right? And then so I was trying to explain to someone why I'm such a big fan of Bitcoin. I don't know if you guys have seen Bitcoin. Bitcoin's at like 23,000. Touched on its highest value ever a couple of days ago. It's pulled back. By no means am I suggesting that you go buy it now. I think fair value is somewhere 10 to 15,000 a coin. Anyway, and just so you know, Bitcoins are one is worth that amount. 23,000 right now, but they're divided up into satoshis, and so those satoshis break down into 8 decimal points into a Bitcoin. And so, cryptocurrency. I mean, I really think that it's the future. I really do. And here, let me lay out my argument. You guys can tell me what you think about this. See, cashed out. I know. I understand. I have a trading position I work around, Tracy. But so I always have a little bit, but sometimes I have more than I felt like 20-some thousand is a pretty good price for it. Again, if it pulls back to 15, then I'll buy more. But the U.S., our people, we don't. Luckily, like for us, you go to a different state, and it's almost like traveling to a different country. I mean, it really is, especially, 15, 20 years ago when federal government had even less power over each of the states. But so each state had different laws and things of that nature, And so it was kind of like traveling to different areas. We speak a little bit different. And so that would cause people to stay here and not leave and go to foreign countries. So when you go to a foreign country, you change your dollars in and you get, francs or euros now or whatever, right? And so people would bring those back. But there's not enough of those that have been brought back for us to have some type of currency to switch to, right? So I've studied what happens when currencies die. And so you had it happen to the Mexican peso. It's happened in Argentina and a couple other South American countries. What happens is when a currency dies, the value escalates as far as like so it takes more and more to buy the same amount of goods, right? And so that not the value escalate, the value falls right to the floor. And so the number of whatever currency it is that you need to buy, say, a loaf of bread rises. Life doesn't end when this thing gets out of control and when prices start to having to be changed with stickers. Like, so a lot of these South American countries, what they would do is they put stickers on different things inside their stores, put those stickers out there and then every day they have a board up at the front where they cash out, you erase it, you write the new value of each sticker. And so that way they can kind of keep up with these prices as they change. Can you imagine how hard it is to run a business when you don't know what prices you're going to be getting in return? Makes business very, very hard. And so that hurts the economy. And so you're right, fiat currency. So, all right. So the issue here with our dollar is even though we've had fiat currency for a while, we left the gold standard officially in, I believe, 73 with Bretton Woods agreement. And so the dollar trades on its value is based upon the solvency of the U.S. government, based on the faith and credit of the U.S. government. And so, and people continue to buy it, and they, use it around the world, and they trade with it and things of that nature, which is great. Really good for America because it allows us to live well beyond our means. We just print these dollars and we can trade them in for DVD players and computers and whatever else we can get China to send our way. And so we press print, and now we don't even have to really print them anymore, right? They're digital. You just click a couple buttons and boom, they're there. And so we're able to create this money instantly. So like next week, this thing passes, this bill gets signed into law, we'll be getting our money digitally into our accounts, and they'll go to the bank and get the cash out. Anyway, the reason I like Bitcoin, let's get back to my point. Sometimes I go on these tangents, but the reason I like Bitcoin is because it's easy. It would be easy for regular people to switch to another currency. Should the dollar continue to lose value? Should it start to lose value in a faster and faster manner? Should Bitcoin continue to rise? At some point, people are going to be like, I should get some of that. And so, if you wanted to buy Bitcoin tonight, you can go to Coinbase. I can put a link out there, and then I'll get some free Bitcoin or whatever. But I should put it in the show notes. So you can go to Coinbase, and hey, Yoshi, good to see you too. And you could buy Bitcoin tonight. You can buy Bitcoin tonight. And so therefore you could use Bitcoin. Like you get a wallet, you can say, I consider Bitcoin a bit more, yes, right. So Donna sounds like you know a lot about Bitcoin. What makes Bitcoin great is that it has a public ledger system. So you know exactly how much Bitcoin is available, and you can see it move. You don't know who it's coming to and going from, but you can see that the system is working inside there, right? And it's totally open. And so there's no faking it, right? There's still some Bitcoin being mined, being hashed out, but it's much less than it was in the beginning. And so there's a set supply that's set to grow over a period of time, but then that's it. And so I see Bitcoin as a digital gold. It's a store of value, and I believe in it. I really do. I hate that I didn't buy a lot more back when I first heard about it. This was every libertarian's chance to get rich, really, because Bitcoin allows for competition of currency. And that's what every libertarian wants, is competition of currency. And because competition is good for consumers. And so I really do believe it. And it's good right down to our currency. When things spin out of control, if they spin out of control, that's a problem, right? That's when the economy seizes up, people get scared, and we don't want that, right? What we'd rather see is this to occur slowly over time, which we have been seeing, right? We have been seeing the slow adoption of a new currency, right? And so I think that's healthy. I think it's good, and I don't think it's a problem. I really don't. But if you're in the business of dollars, if you're the federal government, you might have a problem with it. Although, given that you have such a large debt like the U.S. does, I mean, look, inflation helps a debtor. It does. Milton Friedman said the only way to really deal with high inflation is to spend a lot of money. High living is the best way to handle high inflation. He said that on Donahue one time. And so because you're no longer holding cash. You take your cash and you go out and spend it and buy something. And that has a better chance of appreciating in value in a high inflation economy than your dollar does. And so you penalize savers, and you really, people that are investing, people that are buying things, they're the ones that make out in this. And so I could see that's the road we're headed down. I really think that what the Fed wants to do is slowly unwind all this debt over time to inflate it away, because that's the only way you can deal with it. And so, but the key is not to let it get out of control. It's like, when I was a kid growing up, farmers would burn off fields, right? And so you'd burn off a field because it's good for the soil, but you don't want it to burn the whole damn farm down, right? So you got to have a controlled burn. And so that's the key with the Federal Reserve, is I think that they're trying to have a controlled burn so that we can get this inflation going, but try to keep it controlled. I think that if we were to talk to Paul Volcker, if I called him up, had him on the show, I think Paul Volcker would say that we're playing with fire, literally, because inflation is very hard to tap down. Once you get inflation, it's very hard to get rid of it. So this thing could speed up and get out of control quickly if they aren't careful. So that's why I think that the only free lunch is diversification, right? You hear in economics all the time that there is no such thing as a free lunch. But I've also heard that the only free lunch is diversification. And what that means is that if you have assets, you want them divided up, And so if you have enough assets, Bitcoin should be in there, as should gold and other precious metals and, stocks and bonds and things like that. I mean, you want to be as diversified as you can afford to be. And so that's my advice, my financial advice to you guys out there. Did that for a little while, got out of that business. I'm not going to make any commissions off you guys because of that. So any other questions? What else you guys thinking about this week? Did you watch my show about the county commission? Can I get some thumbs up if you watched the show about the county commission? Is Robert Stevens your guy's hero like he is mine? Don't put all your eggs in one basket, short and long term. I agree. You're right, Donna. That's just common sense. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, and yet lots of people do. Yes, got a big yes on Robert Stevens. Look, I think it takes a lot of bravery on his part to call the mayor out. The mayor is popular. He's very popular inside that county commission room, And so otherwise there would have been more people that would have voted to have him step down. I think that if I was in the mayor's position, number one, I wouldn't want the extra duty of running that county commission meeting if I'm the mayor. I think the mayor's got enough to worry about as a mayor alone, to also have to worry about trying to herd those cats called county commissioners around, man. Just sounds like a lot of work, and then having to remember Robert's rules and keep that going. Ketcher's speech was embarrassing. It was, he let emotion get the best of him, right? And it's easy for me to say, I'm sitting here next to a microphone on a camera. Easy for me to talk here. I'm not in front of people, and I'm not being talked about. So it's easy for me to say that he shouldn't do that. But I do think that that's what leaders are supposed to be able to handle, that, especially if you're going to choose to be in that position, run those meetings, man. And look, I'll be honest, if I was Robert Stevens, I'd be bringing it up every meeting. I'd hammer it every meeting. In fact, here's what I would do. If I was on the county commission, I'd be pulling out that report and I would be reading from it in the meeting, because those other county commissioners aren't looking at it. They aren't. I would be reading it. I'd be talking about it. I'd be taking a look at all the different financial reports, all the different places that Bill Ketchens received money, and I would just read them out loud in the meeting, man. I would follow Robert's rules, and I would just hammer away like that until he steps down, because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take just, Bill's a strong man. He's a strong guy, strong leader. He's not going to bow down, and, he's not going to bend the knee easily, right? And so if Robert wants to prove that this is not a show, right, then he needs to keep knocking on that door and just keep knocking. Even though he's going to take a lot of flack, and like he said, people talk bad about him. And, I mean, the mayor pretty much threatened him and called him names in front of God and everybody. So, I can understand if he doesn't want to. But, it's one of those. Let's talk more about currency. I like that. My friend, Protic. Not being able to sell short with limited trading pairs are some of the challenges with Bitcoins in a very fragile and unregulated market. Yes, I agree. Although the Chicago Board of Exchange, the CBOE, I think I got that right, does have some options available on it, but you're right. It's not as it's not as fluid as it's still a very fragile market. It is. It's very fragile. We could wake up tomorrow and Bitcoin could be at $3,000 a coin or lower tomorrow. It could, just like that. And so there are some large holders of Bitcoin that could definitely damage the market quickly. So by no means am I suggesting you take all your money and put it into Bitcoin. That's for sure. But I do think that it should hold a place in your basket, your basket of eggs. I also want to compliment Rhonda Allen. I thought that I complimented her a little bit in my show, but look, it'd been easy to let Robert just hang out there a little bit. She was at home and still stood by him. Man, I wish she'd run for mayor. She's a smart woman and she's done really good things on the county commission. She'd make a great county mayor, as long as she doesn't want to run the meeting. I swear, that's basically my new question for anybody that's going to run for county mayor is, are you going to sit in those meetings? Are you going to run the county commission? And if they say yes, then I'm not voting for them. That's for sure. I just don't care who it is. It could be David Criswell could run for county mayor. And if he says he's going to run the county commission meeting, I'm not voting for him. So there you go, David. I'm throwing down the gauntlet for you. Let's see here. Well, all right. I guess I'm going to go watch some TV, do what Americans do, It's funny, on my my screensaver here, it says, go to work, get married, have some kids, pay your taxes, pay your bills, watch your TV, follow fashion, act normal, obey the law, and repeat after me. I am free. So, yeah, there you go. This is your daily dose of libertarian thinking. Go buy some Bitcoin if you don't have any. Just buy a little bit, man, just a few Satoshis, And one day you may thank me. Then again, one day you may curse at me over it. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. I hope to take a look at this bill a little bit further. I think that it's important that we do get some help to some people out there that are suffering because the economy's closed down in a lot of states, way more than it is here in Tennessee. Speaking of which, Bill Lee had his speech. Anybody watch that? Anybody watch Bill Lee's speech? He didn't really say much. He said that he can't gather with more than 10 people, right? I don't know what my family's going to do. I'm a party of 9. That means no family can come see me. Anyway. Hey, look, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you ever want to come on the show, you want to come on here and talk some politics with me, I'd love to have you on. Protik, I'd love to have you on here and talk some you can educate my people on some economics. Bill Abraham, you could come on here and you could talk about real estate. I know you've been doing that for many, many years. I'm still doing that. I got a couple of deals pending right now. And anyway, thank you, Donna, for tuning in. Thank you, guys. Be sure to like and share the show. follow me if you aren't at Answer Fancher. You can also check out the podcast at middlegroundpodcast.com. I got a website up. Starting to put some blog issues on there. You can download the show wherever you get your podcasts. And I'm on Parler as well, just so you know, at Answer Fancher. Anything else I need to show you guys? No, that's good. I like playing with this stuff. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for being good friends. Talk to you soon.